Enjoying that foot traffic. All right, for those shoppers avoiding the shops, though, this Christmas, turning to online shopping may not be as stress-free as you would expect. Research conducted over the past year shows Australian retail sites are significantly slower when compared to other major countries. Well, for more, Dave Anderson from Dynatrace joins us live from Melbourne. Dave, good morning to you. I want to start off, I guess, with the question, because is this about the retail sites or is it simply about internet strength in Australia versus the rest of the world?
So firstly, let me just cover off what we were looking at. We were looking at the performance monitoring of the site, so the response times of the top retailers globally. And it's not necessarily, what we found is that Australia had a response time of 9.4 seconds. The rest of the world, the US and the UK, were serving up response times of 3.8 and 3.9. It's not specifically about the internet speed though, because the top 5 retailers in Australia, Apple, eBay, Amazon, Grays Online and Myer, were all able to serve up a response time within 2.9 seconds. So they're kind of meeting that 3-second golden rule.
So even
it's not
Myer,
necessarily about the network.
So even Myer is in there, because a lot of those are obviously global businesses, so it makes you think potentially that's why they have the shorter time. But then you've got an Australian retailer, Myer, in there.
Yeah, and we're running this testing from Australian locations, so it's a level playing field. So yeah, it's great to see Myer in the top 5. You know, they've had media publicity not too long ago around the performance of their site over a Christmas period, but it's great to see local retailers mixing it up with the international retailers and serving up response times that users are demanding.
So local retailers, though, more broadly, urgently need to catch up, because obviously there's only one in that top 5 that is a local retailer. How do they do that? What do they need to do in order to get sort of up to scratch and decrease that time?
Yeah, so it's about understanding the performance and the end users. So when they've got to benchmark themselves against the top 5. So the top 5 tend to have sites that are lighter, they're less complex, and overall they're delivering a really fast response time. Apple, as an example, they have kind of 3 external hosts on their site. They deliver a response time of 1.2 seconds, which is phenomenal. So those that are in the latter half of benchmark should really be looking at the top performers in order to understand the construction of the site and trying to meet the overall response time. So that means making them light, making them less complex, and delivering to what that end user expects, because it's directly attributable to revenue.
So is that a big expense for retailers? What are some of the technical and business challenges faced by locals?
It's not really a big expense. I mean, at the end of the day, kind of optimizing a website can be done by any of the teams. I think, again, it's back to understanding the benchmarks, so understanding where you sit on a global scale, and also really understanding the importance of the response time against the revenue. Nordstrom, a retail giant in the US, found if their optimal response time was 2.5 seconds, a 0.5 second increase reduced their online revenue by 11%. So for the retailers who are sitting in beyond 6 or 7 seconds in terms of response time, they can improve their overall revenue by simply focusing on those response times and making rational decisions about the features and functions that get put into their sites.
Wow, consumers really demanding a lot these days. 2.5 seconds good, 3 seconds too long. Dave, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Ingrid. Merry Christmas.
You too. David Anderson there from Dynatrace, live out of Melbourne.